Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, it's Rob the History Smith. I got a special treat for all you deviants out there in Canada and America and wherever else you are. I got a firearm here that has been prohibited. You cannot own this in Canada. It is too dangerous to be owned by any person. It is a weapon of mass destruction that will destroy the planet. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What are they talking about? Let's have a look. They're talking about this. What is this? It looks like an M16. It is not an M16. This is the Armie Jager Ap74. AP is the guy's initials. 74 is the year it was introduced. Give you a full frame look here. So it looks like an M16A1. Doesn't have the forward assist. Right now this little piece has been knocked out and I put it somewhere and I don't remember where, so the little hold shut is missing. And flip it over to the other side. You can see there's no hold open. There's a safety. So up is fire, back is safe, kind of straightforward. You do have a charging handle. Doesn't go back as far as a AR-15 simply because this is a 22 long pistol. And the other funny thing too is, if you notice, this magazine is actually part of the molding that they did. So the actual magazines they take look like this for the 22 long rounds. I don't know if I have any 22 longs lying around. I do not. So anyways, slides in the bottom here. Sticks out a little bit. This is your actual magazine release here. There you go. So the question bears, like, why in the world would this be prohibited, right? It's prohibited because it's scary looking. I mean, I'm not even joking. I wish I were, but that's a reason enough in Canada to have this thing banned. It's just scary looking, even though it was designed in Italy specifically for strict Italian laws, which did not allow civilians to own any military caliber firearms. 22 long rifle, as we all know, is one of the, well, not the long rifle itself, but the 22 rimfire is one of the oldest cartridges in the world. Well, it's the oldest rimfire cartridge, and it's a good varmint killer, and it is a dangerous round. Don't get me wrong, but it's not what people are talking about when they talk about an AR-15 223 round or 5.56. Completely different kettle of fish. So let's just get on to the rifle, and we'll ignore the weird laws in Canada. It has slings. Oh, let's do back. Sorry, guys. Sling swivel up here. It's got a sling swivel at the back. The butt plate itself is plastic, almost like a hard rubber. The sighting is crude, as you can see. It has peep sights, diopter sights, 2 positions. That's it. It's windage adjustable. The front post here can be screwed in or out, but other than that, that's your elevation. It does have a bayonet. This was even pre-American assault rifle ban, hence 74, but bayonet does not fit and will not fit. And the reason why it's not going to fit is this lower lug is too tall. Right now, this rifle is in the air when it comes to the legality of it. If they do decide they're going to make it legal, I'll probably just grind on that nub a little bit so I can fit a bayonet in case a zombie apocalypse happens. As we all know, you can survive a zombie apocalypse as long as you have a bayonet. Function of this is really straightforward. Since there is no hold open, there's only the safety, and it's only on one side, so no safety here, safety over there. I'll flip it around for you guys. not quite the same as an AR-15, but AR-15-ish. There are proof marks on it up in here. Nothing terribly interesting. Nothing even that noticeable. The one thing I do like, it does have the 3-pronged flash hider. And I'll show you something really cool about that. Alright, here I have a piece of barbed wire. This is actually from, kind of backstory, kind of cool, from Camp X. It's a special training for civilians in World War II. It's essentially the beginning of CIA, FBI, joint forces kind of stuff. So what does that have to do with this flash protector? What you're supposed to do is to cut the barbed wires. You get it in the flash, you get the flash protector into the barbed wire, you give it a twist, the rifle that is, not the barbed wire, you pull the trigger, and it's supposed to shoot the barbed wire apart. That's a neat little trick. I like it. Sure as hell ain't sneaking in anywhere shooting through barbed wire though, but just thought you guys find that interesting. That's one thing you can do with the 3-prong flash hider. Again, I don't know if that's military practice to do that, but I've seen it done and I think it's really cool. So let's have a look at the inside to see how much this resembles an AR-15. Let's take out the magazine. We do have a pin, non-captive, so not military standard, obviously. This is not a military gun. It was never meant to be. I'll spin it around this way. Crack that open. So it does shotgun like an M16 or an AR-15. The screw on the front here is a screw, so it's not coming out. Your bolt. It's not particularly heavy. I don't know what it's made out of. Is it magnetic? It is magnetic, so it's got to be some sort of steel, but it's very lightweight. I mean, it's just recoil operated. You can see there's no locking lugs. This little peg up here just locks into the charging handle, so you can cock the thing. Charging handle, M16-like. I say like because absolutely none of this rifle will take anything off an actual AR-15 or M16. You can't even mount a normal sight to this. It will not fit. So, be warned, this is meant to be a range toy. It was always meant to be a range toy. I don't even think you'd want to go hunting with this. So when we look inside here, you do have a buffer. It's pretty strong, actually. You got your hammer. Now, the biggest thing I see happening with this is people let the hammer fly forward. Let me see if I can get that down the side there. So people let it just slam forward. Even on a real AR-15 M16, you don't want to do that. But this one is particularly bad because this is your ejector here. And I've seen time and time and time and time again, this tiny little ejector get busted up and missing. So don't let your hammer just fly home. You'll break your ejector. You're going to have to make a new one because you're not going to find parts for this. The only hope would be when they do start making these things, if they ever start collecting them from the Canadian government, that people will take them apart and part them out, because they're a popular rifle. They go for about 400 if you can find them. That's 400 American, and it was 400 Canadian. The magazines are a real pain though to find. There are some reproductions out there now, but even the reproductions go for $50 a magazine. They hold 17 rounds. These ones, at least the original, and I was lucky when I bought this. I think it came with like 4 or 5 magazines. That's almost the cost of the rifle right there. There's not a whole lot to talk about this, guys. It's a neat little thing. There's a little ball detent for the pin. When you put it back in. This one I would not dry fire, simply because of its age. It doesn't make sense to dry fire it. It has plastic. I don't know how durable it is. I wouldn't want to drop it. It feels like a toy, the plastic. And I know people joke about the old M16s and AR-15s feeling like toys. This really does. The grip attaches the same way as an M16, but does not come off the same way as an M16. It won't, again, not replaceable. The delta ring does not move. Disassembly on this, you'd have to remove the front block. And keep in mind, this is direct blowback. There is no gas tube in here. It's just a thin barrel that goes out to the front. Simple operation. I've heard a lot of people talk about having trouble with these things, and the only issue I could ever see being the problem is your magazines. I had to go through all 5 of mine with a bunch of dummy rounds and tweak them, and it's the feed lips essentially that are probably, in this case, were always too closed, so the bullet was sitting too low in the magazine to be picked up reliably. Open that up a bit, just pry these little lips back a bit to the point where the bullet won't pop out on its own, but it's close, and you should be good. There's a serial number on it. These haven't been made since at least the early 90s, if not more. I just love it. I think it's a great representation of a simple M16, right? It's just fun. It's cheap ammunition. You could fire it all day long and not get worn out. I guess we'll mark about the stickers. There's a little tribute to one of my friends who was in Vietnam and had a tough time of it. But I thought he was a good guy, and I wanted to do something to kind of honor him in his service. So that's what these stickers are for, in case anybody's wondering. All right, guys. It's a bit of a different AR-15 for you. I want to beat Ian McCullen to the scoop. If you guys have been watching his channel, you know he's done the FAMAS version of this. This is much more common in Canada. All the other versions of Jaegers have been prohibited. The L85s, the FAMAS, and the AK-47 version of this have been prohibited back, I believe it was 1983. I could be wrong about that date. But they were put on the first list. This squeaked by, but was put under a prohibited list. So prohibited means, restricted at first. So you treat it like a handgun. In Canada, that means you don't carry it around with you. You take it to and from the range. You can only fire it at the range. You can't fire it on private property. And you have to have it registered with the serial number and everything like that in the paperwork. So for anybody in Canada who has one of these, it's very likely that you may not know that. So keep in mind, you do have what is now a prohibited weapon. That will probably be reversed back to restricted in the future. I'm hoping. Don't quote me on that, because I'm no political or legal expert. But if you do have one of these, be warned, be careful. It's probably not worth the hassle, and it's definitely not worth the cost of $400 to get your butt thrown in jail for who knows how long with a prohibited weapons charge. So my advice would be keep it quiet. Hold on to it for a gun buyback program or something like that. Or have it properly disabled. That's another option in Canada. You can disable these things, have them as wall hangers or props. This gun is kind of cool. Some people say it was used for military training. I haven't found any hard evidence of that beyond conjecture. But I can tell you one thing, these have been used in movies, and if you're a zombie fan like me, check out the original Dawn of the Dead in the shopping mall. You'll see them using this early on in the movie, all the SWAT forces and everything like that. The Dead giveaway is always this little magazine sticking out the bottom. Or that little magazine release if you can see it. But regardless, it's a fun rifle. I love it. The value, I think, of $400 is a little on the high side, but it's your call, guys. So please like, subscribe, and we will do another video on some more Canadian-built AR-15s coming up in the future. And I'm going to beg Black Creek Blast to let me into their factory, and we'll see what can happen there, guys. All right, thank you. Please like, subscribe, and continue watching my channel.